Happy Monday. Hello, Facebook friends. Chris Brower coming to you live from my stamping room in Worthington, Minnesota. How are you? Did you have a good weekend? I am just coming off of a high because I spent the weekend with 30 amazing people, 29, no, 30, 31 with me, 30 amazing women who came and just filled my bucket with crafting, fun, and knowledge and creativity, and I am just blessed. So I spent the better part of today, what do I want to say? Putting everything away, I guess, is what I did. Hang on one second. I'm going to grab my other remote. I had put the TV on pause, and it didn't want to pause any longer. So, like I said, I'm Chris Brower, and I am here today. I've accepted a Facebook challenge to go live every day in the month of February. I will confess that I cheated on Saturday. I went live on Thursday and Friday, even though I was holding my retreat, but I cheated on Saturday. I just couldn't. We were having too much fun. I was too busy, and by the time I got home at 8:30 on Saturday night, I was too tired. So I posted some big pictures that I took live, and I think if you hold your finger on them, they'll wiggle a little for you. Probably not. I'm not sure if it works that way on other devices, but if I lose the challenge because of that, so be it. I had just a great time. It was worth every minute. This is a demonstration that I have seen several other demos doing, and I did it for my crew at the retreat and got lots of suggestions on other ways to do it, and oohs and ahs, and lots of people ordered it. So let me just turn the camera around and we'll get started. I am going to be using the Endearing Beauty stamp set from the mini catalog, page 38. I am also going to be using the Endearing Beauty masks, which are also on page 38. And we are going to be achieving two different looks. I was inspired by Brenda Sellers, a new friend of mine, to show you two different looks side by side. So let's go ahead and get started. Before I get started, I had a couple other things to show you and share you. Let me straighten this up a little bit. There we go. As you can see, I've been writing on my glass mat, and I did this with a Sharpie marker, and I am wiping it off with my damp chamois. So I'm not using the dry erase marker, because every time I write with it, it seems to want to rub on my arm or on the paper. Now I'm also going to try rubbing alcohol, and that is easier to rub off, but in a pinch, the wet damp chamois is actually just fine. Let me go ahead and check Facebook and make sure that I am indeed live before I go too much farther. It looks like everything is working. So, there we go. Alright, so I've cleaned off my mat using water or rubbing alcohol. Okay, so let's just set those things aside. I'm going to try to keep this piece of vellum on here to hide my overhead lighting. That is always going to be a problem, I believe. Okay, and because my glass mat was wet, that curled up a little bit. Okay, so we're going to use the large stamp from this set. And I'm just going to adhere it. Nope, I need the next size. You'll need that large block. This is the F block. I think that says F. Yep, block F. Okay, or you could use a stamping platform if you have one. I'm going to get my trimmer, and I'm going to grab a couple sheets of basic white paper. And I'm going to cut this so that it can fit a card front. So I'm going a little smaller than 4 1/4, 4 1/8, and a little smaller than 5 1/2, 5 3/8. And like I said, we're going to do 2 of them side by side. I want you to see what it looks like if you don't have the stamp set, because you don't have to have both. All right, let's see if I can. I'm going to do something different with that glare. I did this the other day and it worked kind of slick. It's just Scotch tape. Oh, I gotta go up a little higher. I don't know, what do you call it? The cloudy kind. Is that translucent? Possibly. I should know. We taught this in 3rd grade science. Whoops. I think I'm gonna find the perfect spot where this needs to be on here, and then I'm going to leave it forever. But it does, my mat gets moved around. We're going to deal with that little bit of glare because I'm going to be on here. Okay, let's keep going. All right, I've got 2 pieces of the white paper, and I am going to use washi tape to hold it down. Of course, I don't have everything I need now that I've started the video. I've got some old washi tape here, and we're going to use this. I think it'll work to hold them both down like that. So, did you guys have a fun weekend? Hopefully you enjoyed the Super Bowl. It was a good game, depending on who you were rooting for. Not sure if you were happy with the outcome or disappointed with the outcome. Either way, it was kind of fun to watch. All right, so in the mask set, you get 5 masks. And they are numbered at the top. You can see right there. This one is number 1. They're kind of a hot mess in here because we played with them. No problem, though. That's what they're for, right? So you can see the numbers at the top. There's number 3, 2, 4. All right, we're going to start with, first of all, stamping. For those of you who have watched some of my videos lately, you've seen that I've made my own Memento ink pad using the white ink pad. So instead of putting the white ink on it, I have filled it with my black ink refill. Alright, so I'm going to take my block and I'm going to bring the ink to it. I like to do it this way when it's one of these larger stamps. It's a preference thing. Okay, let me think if... I kind of want to think about which direction the mask is going. It wouldn't really matter. I think this is right. It's at least close. Alright. So we're going to stamp the one on the right, and we're going to hope that this stamps in the center. When I was doing it as a demo this weekend, it didn't. And we had to pull out. See, it wants to miss the middle there. I'm going to go ahead without it because I'm also going to show you at the end how you can fill that in. I think it's because I have something under my glass mat. So I'm going to have to adjust that. That's on me. That is not on the stamp or, oh, stay there, or on the mat. I think it's my problem because I've got something under there. Alright, so the one on the right is going to be with the stamped background, and the one on the left is going to be with the masks only. And I'm going to go ahead and use Daffodil Delight today. My brushes are going to look very clean because I washed them out. Whoops. I washed them out after the retreat. So they don't always look this green or this clean. And I'm also going to use Granny Apple Green for the leaves. Okay. I'll get my green one. Okay, so we're going to start with mask number 1, and it just takes a second to kind of find right where it fits perfectly around those black lines. Okay, and you'll see that there is a notch here. I'm going to go ahead and ignore the notch, but I am going to mark where I have this sitting on my board. Okay, that will help me when I get to the second mask. Okay, now I've seen people taping this down, and I've seen people not taping it down. I'm going to tape it down. I think that it is not going to hurt at all. Alright. Okay. I'm going to bring my blending brush to the ink pad, and I'm going to first start on the glass mat or a scrap paper if you don't have a glass mat, and then, oh, it moved. Okay, we're good. And then I'm going to just gently roll over the whole thing. Okay, this is going to be your first. Wow, are you ready? Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool? I'm going to zoom in on that for you. I think it's awesome. Alright, now we're going to move over to this other side, and we're going to, there's that darn glare. See, so now my tape, I moved my camera, and so now where I taped my image isn't working. Where I taped my board isn't covering my glare. Alright, so for this side, it's going to be moved up just a little higher, and I'm going to again mark where I'm setting this on my glass board. I'm going to tape it down. I just stuck my finger right in the ink pad. It's always something, isn't it, folks? All right, same thing. I'm going to get some ink on my blending brush. I'm going to tap off. Let me zoom out a little bit again. Tap off over here, hold it down, and circle around. And that's it. This one will not have as much of a wow factor, but it may at the end. Okay, I'm setting number 1 aside. I'm going to wash that off later with either my chamois or I'm probably going to run it under the sink. All right, now I'm going to number 2. Number 2. I'm going to line this up with that mark that I made on my glass board. And I'm going to tape it down. And these are the leaves. So this time I'm going to use my green, Granny Apple Green. I'm going to get some ink on my blending brush. I'm going to tap first on the board to get the harshness off. And now I am going to go over all the holes. My mask is off just a little bit. That's what makes it a homemade card, right? And that's just me probably working a little too quickly here and not being careful enough. All right, here's your second wow. Cool. Isn't that amazing? Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to slide my mask over here to the second card, line up all of my little marks. I'll try to be a little bit more accurate this time. I'm going to, I can grab some of this green here. That's the beauty of using the glass mat. If I was using the grid paper underneath, I wouldn't be able to do that. So, oh, I've got some washi tape in the way there. Darn. I wonder if I can quick grab that out of there. I'm going to grab that out of there. All right. Let me get that fixed, because we can always put this back down. Live TV here. I'm also going to close my marker before I get that all over anything. So I'll tear that off. I'm going to put this back on again. Those marks on my board are pretty important. There we go. I'll go back in and fill in where that was. So that one's a little too close to the edge of my paper. It's going to take a little practice, isn't it? But still really, really cool. Okay. Again, remember the first one is going to be a little bit more wow because it has those black lines. All right, we need number 3. Number 3 is back to the flower part of the card. So now I'm going to switch back to my yellow. Daffodil Delight is what I'm using. I'll put on 2 since it moved on me last time. Grab my yellow brush. There's that glare. Let me... Oh, you guys, I just have to, I don't know, figure out my lighting, but you can see what I'm doing. All right, I'm using the same color now, and I'm going over the same spots. I'm trying, folks. I'm trying to get you. Oh, man. Let's go down closer. Well, using the same color, okay? So this is just going to highlight the edges and the places in your flower that should be highlighted. Okay, do you just see how simple it is? Whoa! Okay, that was really ugly, Brower. Okay, taking the same mask, lining it up, going over to the second flower that doesn't have the stamped image, and going over those flowers again and giving those some highlights. Simple, done. Let me back up. Ooh, I got rid of the glare. Awesome. Totally by luck. Pulling this one off. It's starting to look cooler than we thought it was going to be without the stamp image. All right, that was number 3. We're on to number 4. Number 4 is the back to the leaves. I think that you probably could do all the leaves with your green and then come back and do all the flowers or vice versa, but I haven't tried that yet. Like I said, I just got them on Thursday. They shipped on Friday, and I brought them to the retreat on Saturday and did a demo. Okay, I'm going to green. I'll use some of this first. This is going to be the veins in the leaves and the stems. One of these dies got a little bit bent, and I was worried about that and didn't remember it until just this second, and it seems to have not caused any problems because I've already used the one that got bent. I think. I don't know. Maybe I can't even remember which one it was. All right, we've got green, Granny Apple Green on top of Daffodil Delight. Oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Let me get in closer and show you. Do you see the green that I just added? So cool. This is where I'm missing those marker lines in the center, but I think I'm going to be able to go back and fix those. All right, let's go ahead and do green on this side. Get some highlights in those veins of those leaves. Tap it off on the... Oops, it's off a little bit. Let me move that up. Grab my pick tool. It's hard to get under there when I've got it taped down so nicely. Let's try that again. I wasn't looking at the paper. I was only looking at my marks on my glass board. There we go. That's where we want to be. Okay. I think I already did that. We'll do it again. You can always add more ink, but you can't take it off. So be careful. Be diligent about tapping it over here. If you don't, you get a really harsh spot in one place, and then unless you just keep adding more and more ink to the rest of your design, you have to just keep trying to get them all to be as dark as that first harsh hit, and I don't want to have to do that. So I like it to be a little softer. Okay, there is mask number 4. It's looking cool, looking like a traditional stencil. So definitely 2 looks. I know the other thing that Brenda had mentioned was stamping with gray instead of black, so that you had a softer line on the one that I'm working on right now. So that would be another thing to try. Okay, now I'm on the flowers, so I'm going back to the yellow. Daffodil Delight. Alright, tap off. This is going to give that center of the flower a nice pop of Daffodil Delight, little darkness. And I've used almost all of my Daffodil Delight that I had put on the glass mat. So that's awesome. Alright, here's your last pop of wow for that card. Isn't that cool? Oh, I just think it's so neat. You hardly notice that mistake in the center, but I really actually can. Learned this from someone who was at the retreat this weekend, and she was super patient and fixed the others that we all made mistakes on. I'll have to look at if I move over here and look at the stamp, let's see, it's this way. Ooh, I'm not confident enough to try that yet. But do you see how I filled in some of these and you can't even tell? So I just need to do this little area here. And I will come back and do that with just a black Sharpie. Alright, let's finish up this one with the flower centers. So line it up to my lines. This one isn't as critical because you can see that they're kind of, I don't know, kind of abstract, in my opinion. There's not an exact spot that this one has to be because there was no black line to follow. Alright. Grab that with my Take Your Pick tool. Oh, it's so cool! It's so cool! What do you guys think? Do you like without the stencil or without the stamp or with it? What do you like? This, sorry to be so wonky there. Do you like number 1 or number 2? What do you think? Number 1 or number 2? Hi, Mimi. Nice to see you. Aren't these pretty? So because I didn't get these right in the center of the card where typically you would want your focal part of your flower to be, I'm either going to have to either fussy cut or trim around these, or I'm going to have to put a ribbon around the bottom. I mean, there's things that I can do to make this still fit into a card. This one is pretty nicely centered. I might even turn it this way just because there's a little more room, a little less, the floral image is closer to the top of my cardstock. This one I would maybe trim the sides and then mask it or mount it onto some other cardstock. So 2 very different looks using one tool, and really pretty easy to do. the one that I did at the retreat, let me show you one of the mistakes we made. So this was using Melon Mambo. We thought that step 5 was to do the centers, but that really was harsh. So we learned that pretty quickly, that you're not going to do step 5. This is one that also we had to draw some of our own lines because the middle of my stamp wasn't working right. So I need to figure that out. But anyway, that is my live video for today. If you are interested in ordering any of these products from me, please let me know. If you have a demonstrator already, let them know. I have a feeling that these are going to be very popular. Let me flip back up to my face here so you can see me. I have a feeling that these are going to be really popular, and they're not, the more we start seeing people demonstrating them on Facebook Lives, they're going to go fast. The masks are only $10.50, so to make a card like this one, all you would need are the $10.50 masks and whatever colors you are interested in. The stamp set is, I want to say $20. The stamp set is $20. There are also dies that go with this, but I did not invest in those. So let me know what you think. I'm going to finish these two, and I will post them. I'll post the cards on my Facebook page. Thank you so much for joining me today on day 12 of the 29-day challenge. Hopefully I will be able to complete the challenge with fidelity and not a little bit of a cheat on Saturday. So thanks again for joining me. If you're watching the replay, please type that in the comments so that I know people are actually seeing it. Have a great day. Oops, where's my mouse? Can't log off without the right equipment. Take care, friends.